Hello and welcome. You're watching Money9, India's first multilingual platform for personal finance from TV9 News Network. I'm Sakshi Batra, and on this show, we get you an update of how the markets are trading at this point in time and how are experts really viewing the market scenario currently, and what is it that you can do to further ahead your portfolio towards wealth returns and generate, huge returns on the positive side for your portfolio. We'll discuss all of this with a fundamental expert, but before that, I want to request all our viewers who are watching us on the YouTube channel to like and subscribe to our channel as well as hit that bell icon so that you can get notified whenever we add another new video on Money9. Also, stay connected with us through all our social media platforms Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram so that you can get updated with all the news updates that we put out there for your consumption. Money9.com, our website where you can actually read up all the latest news and articles on personal finance as well, both in English and in Hindi for your consumption, which is definitely beneficial for your wallets and your information too. Let's kickstart this discussion. We have a very special guest joining in. Mr. Rajesh Agarwal from AUM Capital joins in on Market Meter. Good afternoon, Mr. Agarwal, and thank you very much for taking out time for us. Help us understand with your take on the markets currently. Of course, record high levels yet again seen yesterday. 15,900 has already been achieved for the Nifty. The Sensex also has climbed to a fresh record high level, but today there is a subdued move. Especially started from the global markets and which are showing some kind of subdued move right ahead of the FOMC meeting as well. But how should investors really view the market scenario currently?
See, good morning, Sakshi. First of all, as far as investors are concerned, I think there is no need to panic because this updates which we are witnessing today, as you said it right, that's because of FMC week and a weekly expiry due tomorrow. So almost every week we witness this kind of movement. Either it is Wednesday, it's very down, or again Thursday it goes up. It goes on. These things are for traders, but as far as investors are concerned, the undertone is very bullish. Data which has come is quite good enough. Liquidity is there, but yes, of course, since the levels of 15,800, 900 odd levels have already been reached, the upside is limited unless and until some very positive news comes. So one should be cautious, and every dip should be taken as an opportunity to buy. There is no need to panic at this point of time. I would say that if some correction is there, for investors, that would be an opportunity.
Okay, if there is this correction that you're seeing this today in today's trading action, then definitely you can use it to your advantage and buy on dips, add on to those quality names, as is the suggestion from Mr. Agarwal. But sir, also help us understand. We've seen that the inflation numbers have actually hit through the roof. They're at the record high levels as far as the WPI inflation is concerned. The retail inflation is now above the RBI's comfortable limit of 6% on the upper band. And so, how are you viewing this with respect to the markets? Of course, the immediate knee-jerk reaction was like, the market shrugged off any concerns on the inflationary pressures. But going forward from here, is that a concern that could be, could throw the rally in a spanner in some way?
See, I also believe that this inflation is a concern unless and until it shows some decrease in coming months, because it's not only in India where the inflation has gone up. In US also we have seen inflation in the 5%. That was unheard of in near future, I would say. So near past, I would say. But then this is a global phenomenon because of various reasons. There are freight rates have gone up, fuel prices are going up. There are shortage of tankers, shipping liners is not there. So obviously the commodity prices have played up like anything, and that has contributed to the inflation numbers. But going forward, if things cool down from this place, I don't think there is a need of concern. But yes, if things don't cool down and inflation goes on like this, I think there would be some problems going forward. So that's why I said one needs to be cautious. But if there is a correction, maybe some 200, 300 points on the Nifty, we may see a good amount of cut in mid cap also. So that would be an opportunity to buying it in a quality mid cap to the time horizon 12 to 18 months. Once unlock starts taking place, the monsoon is predicted to be good. So things are looking brighter in the longer term horizon.
Right, absolutely. Things are looking good in our longer term horizon. I also wanted to ask you, sir, today there are two particular sectors in focus, one on the positive side and the other one on the negative side. On the positive side, we are seeing FMCG index really bucking the trend despite the overall weakness in the markets, 0.5% gain for this index. How are you looking at the whole consumption space at this point in time amid the kind of unlock that we are seeing after the second wave has hit us? The other thing will be the metal space that is down over 2% now. Of course, there are external pressures coming in from China as well. Is this space going to be a little cautious now for the investors who've already who are already sitting on huge profits, who had invested at the start of the metal rally, but now there is some kind of cooling off coming in here?
See, two questions you have asked, one on the FMCG side and on the metal side. Let's take one
Yeah.
by one. If we talk about FMCG, uh, in the entire lockdown period, whether it was lockdown 1 or lockdown 2, we have seen FMCG companies doing well because consumption has gone up. Two, uh, we have continuously been hearing that the monsoon is going to be good, so that the rural demand will go up. And then MSP has been high 2 3 days back. So that again will add to the income of rural India, and that will boost up FMCG companies' volume. Those companies which are morely focused towards rural, I would say, would be big beneficiaries, like the likes of Imani or Agarwal or Americo would be big beneficiary. And we are personally bullish on ITC as such, which we have discussed so many times with you also.
Yeah.
Because the valuations are extremely cheap, while other FMCG companies are trading at a PE of in the range of 55, 60 to 100, and whereas ITC is trading at a PE of 15 odd levels because of various reasons. But anybody trying to take an exposure for a longer term horizon, I think two stocks I would really like to recommend would be Marico, either Marico or Imani, any one of them, and
Okay.
ITC, and ITC of
Okay.
course. And where is it in metal? The news that came yesterday night about China opening up some of their metals that played a dampener, and then uh, things have gone really very bullish in the last 3 4 months, and people sitting on profits have been trying to just book their profit, and that's the kind of reason we are seeing the pressure. But going forward, I think we are in a commodity super cycle, at least in the steel side, and that would be a good thing to be in. If there is some more amount of correction, I would say General Steel and Power or Tata Steel would be better bets.
Okay, so use these dips, and if there are further dips, you can definitely add on to more metal names like the specific ones that Mr. Agarwal has really mentioned. In the FMCG space, also, he's given his preferred picks, including Marico and ITC, where you can definitely look at adding to your portfolio. While we are talking about the unlock trades, sir, but there's one company that came out with their earnings yesterday, and that's Jubilant Foods. Now, of course, the overall earnings, they definitely missed the street estimates, but there are a few things that actually impressed the street. One was the same store sales growth. The other one was the continuous addition of the stores as well. About 46 odd outlets have been added in the last quarter. How are you looking at this QSR space at the moment? And is there some value here for investors to pick out, even though the stock is at its record high levels?
See, if you talk of value, I would say if we talk of pure valuation, then everybody will say that okay, Jubilant Food is trading at a very high valuation.
Yeah.
But then there are stocks where you have to give some high valuation because of various other reasons rather than PE ratios or price to book value or something like that. One, it has been growing continuously. Two, it has not been affected by the lockdown. Rather, the digital presence has been increased and the online delivery business has been doing very well. Same store sales, as you said, has grown well. They have opened new stores. They are trying to open more new stores, and they are closing down their loss-making outlets. So this is the strategy that the company is following. And the best part is there is no other listed player, no other big listed player, I would say, in QSR space. Of course, there is Westlife, but that they have a regional presence. Unless and until some other player comes in, I think this scarcity demand will always be there. So for the time being, I think yes, at least 15-20% upside from the current market price is quite possible in the next 2 quarters of swing dividend.
Okay, another upside in the offing in the next 1 or 2 quarters. So keep an eye out on this stock as well. सर अब आपकी स्पेसिफिक recommendations पर आ जाते हैं. कहाँ पर अभी आप वैल्यू अनलॉकिंग देख रहे हैं जहाँ पर इन्वेस्टर्स अभी भी बेट कर सकते हैं डिस्पाइट द रिकॉर्ड हाई लेवल्स दैट वी हैव सीन इन द मार्केट्स, और पोर्टफोलियो में डेफिनेटली एडिशंस अच्छे रहेंगे.
देखिए ऐसा है कि रिकॉर्ड हाई लेवल्स पे है, बट जैसा मैंने कई बार पहले भी कहा कि अगर आप निफ्टी के स्टॉक से बाहर निकले तो मिड कैप स्पेस में आपको बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज है
जी.
अभी अगर अपने अनलॉक की बात करें जिसमें कोरोना केसेस लाख से भी कम हो गए हैं, वैक्सीनेशन ड्राइव इतनी बढ़ गई है, तो मुझे लगता है आस्ते आस्ते जब लॉकडाउन अनलॉक होना चालू होगा तो कुछ सेक्टर ऐसे होंगे जो और परफॉर्म करेंगे, जिसमें ऑटो एक सेक्टर हो सकता है, एफएमसीजी जैसे हम लोग पहले बात एक और जोड़ना चाहूंगा एफएमईजी, दैट्स फास्ट मूविंग इलेक्ट्रॉनिक पर. तो वहां पे आपको बहुत ट्रैक्शन दिखता है, क्योंकि अगर आप देखो तो पिछले 1.5-2 साल से किसी ने अपने घर में रेनोवेशन वगैरह करवाया ही है, क्योंकि कोई तो अभी एक बार खुद ये सब करेंगे, कंजम्पशन बढ़ जाएगी, तो इस टीम पे अपने बॉडी कैप को संभालते हैं. जहाँ की हम समझते हैं ये बहुत अच्छी कंपनी है, न केवल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में बल्कि वायर और केबल बेचती भी है. अब इन्होंने इलेक्ट्रॉनिक गुड्स में भी एंट्री करी है. 40 से ऊपर देशों में इनके एक्सपोर्ट होते हैं, नंबर बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग है. और सबसे अच्छी बात है कि B2C सेगमेंट जो है वो बहुत अच्छा कामकाज कर रहा है. मैनेजमेंट ने ये दर्शाया है कि अगले आने वाले 2-3 साल में वो डेट फ्री हो जाएंगे. मुझे लगता है ये स्टॉक 2100 के लेवल को छू सकता है आने वाले 2 क्वार्टर्स में. तो यहाँ पे एक बार खरीदारी करनी चाहिए. और दूसरे स्टॉक जो मैंने जैसे कहा कि ऑटो में हम थोड़े बुलिश है कि खुलने के बाद ऑटो में डिमांड दिखेगी, तो उसमें एक ऑटो इंसुलेंस कंपनी है मदरसन सोनी सिस्टम्स, जिसमें हम 280 के टारगेट के साथ खरीदारी की सलाह दे रहे हैं. अगर आप देखो तो इनकी क्लाइंट लिस्ट में ऑडी, एजी, डालमियर, वॉक्सवैगन जैसे सारे टॉप के कस्टमर्स हैं. नंबर 1 स्ट्रॉन्ग आए थे रेवेन्यू में, बल्कि बॉटम लाइन में भी अच्छा जम देखा गया, मार्जिन्स में बढ़त देखी गई. और सबसे अच्छी बात है कि ईवी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक व्हीकल्स की जो कागजात चालू हो रही है उससे इनको बहुत फायदा होने वाला है, क्योंकि इनके टोटल ऑर्डर बुक के 20 से 22% जो ऑर्डर बुक है वो ईवी सेगमेंट से है. और इस कंपनी में भी मैनेजमेंट ने ये कहा है कि वो डेट रिडक्शन पर बहुत जोर दे. तो मुझे लगता है सारे फायदे पे ये खरीद करती है. यहाँ पे मध्यम अवधि का टारगेट हमारा 280 का है, और आने वाले दिनों में अगर क्वार्टरली नंबर्स और बेहतर होते हैं तो उसके टारगेट रिवाइज भी कर सकते हैं. और ऑटो पैक से जुड़ी हुई कंपनी जेके टायर्स की बात करना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि इन दिनों बहुत अच्छा बढ़ा, लेकिन बावजूद उसके अगर आप देखेंगे तो जो पीयर ग्रुप कंपनीज हैं उनके अभी भी वैल्यूएशन बहुत सस्ते हैं. और 70% जो मार्केट इनका रेवेन्यू है वो रिप्लेसमेंट मार्केट से आता है, खास करके ट्रक्स के मार्केट से, जहाँ की डिमांड बहुत अच्छी देखी जा रही है. डेट रिडक्शन पे इनका भी जो है, और इनकी सब्सिडरी है कैवेंडिश, वो भी बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रही है. और पिछले दिनों में हुंडई में क्रेटा के साथ, हुंडई की जो क्रेटा मॉडल है उसके साथ करार किया है, उसके लिए सप्लाई करेंगे, तो उससे भी फायदा होगा. मैं सोचता हूँ 180 के टारगेट के साथ यहाँ भी खरीदा.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Agarwal, for speaking to us and sharing your views on markets and these recommendations for all our viewers to also take note of. Let's quickly look at how the markets are trading at this moment right now. We are seeing that the markets have slipped a little bit more from the early morning trade, 0.5% loss there for the Sensex and the Nifty. The Sensex has slipped below the 52,500 mark. When you talk about the Nifty 50, it's down below the 15,800 mark as well. So it's definitely a day of, for the bears right now. The Nifty Bank also 0.5% down, and so is the picture in the broader market space as well. So all of those greens also have now slipped into the red as far as half time is concerned. Moving on to the sectoral picture now. Let's see how picture is emerging over there. As far as the sectors are concerned, you'll clearly see that more and more sectors are now slipping into the red, with more losses coming in from the metal space, down 2%, financial services, banks, even pharma index and realty index is now losing in trade right now. Only FMCG and IT holding up into the green at the moment. For the gainers and losers, let's quickly see how the picture is emerging there too. Well, you can actually see FMCG major Nestle now inching up higher, instead of, like, it's moved up higher than ONGC, which was earlier the top gainer. Right now it's Nestle, almost 2% uptick right now at 18,000 rupees for per stock. Tata Consumer again in the limelight. M&M and Bajaj Finserv, the other stocks in the gaining strength. Let's look at the losers at this point in time too. Most counters are going to be from the metal space, like Tata Steel, JSW Steel. Hindalco also down by 2.5% in trade. Adani Ports continues its downward run, 4% downtick for this stock, and Power Grid also declines at the moment. So it's a day when the bears will be perhaps happy to gain some ground after many days when the bulls have been shining through. Let's see how the day closes in today's trading session, and we'll keep you posted on that. So do stay with us on our YouTube channel, subscribe to our channel, hit that bell icon, and stay connected with us through our social media platforms and our website as well. Thank you for watching.